When a motion design piece truly stands out, leaving a lasting impression, earning industry recognition, and inspiring our clients' competitors to want something similar, there's always one essential element at its core, and that is story. Now, it's easy to acknowledge the importance of story. It's pretty much found in every creative work out there. But in motion design, story is more than elementary. It's the thread that weaves through every stage of the creative process, informing key design choices and giving purpose to every visual element and movement. How it threads that needle is through the three main phases of the motion design pipeline: pre-production, production, and post-production. Yet, nestled within these three phases is an even more critical phase, the story phase. This part of the pipeline will be our focus for today. Why? Because it's this phase of the ideation process where characters, worlds, narratives, and messaging begin to take shape. It's the creative core that transforms a simple idea into a fully realized concept that can then be brought to life with design and animation. And it is the jump-off point for what I like to call the story to motion design workflow. Using a studio piece from Formerly, the parent brand of Styleframe Saturdays, I'll explain why the story phase is crucial to a motion design piece's success. I'll also show you how we moved from idea to concept harnessing the story phase, and how we brought this piece through the rest of the standard motion design pipeline as well. So with that said, let's get started. All motion design pieces tell stories, and not just ordinary stories, but meaningful stories that resonate with a particular person, audience, or consumer. But first, what do I mean by story? As Lisa Cron puts it in Story or Die, story is the self-narrative that we use to make sense of the world around us. Meaning, stories go beyond mere entertainment. They play a key role in fostering critical thinking. In fact, according to Lisa, understanding story is the foundation of critical thinking. Simply put, stories teach us things about ourselves and the world around us. That's the general premise of a story. But when it comes to our own motion design projects, how do we know whose story to tell? Better yet, how do we know what is going to resonate with a certain audience? Those answers are usually found in the creative brief. The story we attach to our motion design projects is often the result of what is being asked in the creative brief. The brief helps us identify what problem needs to be solved and why, and how to appropriately use design and animation to convey the solution to that problem. In short, it helps us identify the idea behind our motion design projects. Let's take a look at a Formerly project as an example. The creative brief for this Formerly piece, the Del Sordo power washing brand film, had a very simple ask: create a marketing video that can be used on the company's website and social channels to invite viewers to learn more about the Del Sordo package of power washing solutions. Seems pretty straightforward, but there were questions that needed to be addressed. First, it was important to understand the who and the why of the brief. So we asked ourselves questions like, who is this brief catered to, and why is this problem worth solving for them? To find the answers and give the brand film meaning and emotional weight, we needed to understand the Del Sordo clientele and their pain points intimately. This meant doing our homework and research. And the discovery process that unfolded revealed the answers necessary to build a compelling story that spoke directly to the Del Sordo audience. More on that in a minute. But with the who and the why identified, and having a general idea of who our story might be about, it was time for us to officially kick off the story phase. Further defining the audience is one of the first things we should do after a debriefing. So once we know who the story is for, we must step into their shoes and ask questions from their perspective, like, what challenges are we facing? Which needs of ours haven't been met yet? And most importantly, what really matters to us and why? In doing so, we gain insight into our audience's belief system and the context behind their decisions. As Lisa Cron puts it, at this stage, our goal is to identify with them. This kind of perspective taking shapes how we develop our protagonist, because it is the protagonist through whom the audience experiences the story. And in order to create a protagonist they can connect with, we must first understand what the audience believes and why. For this brand film, the audience consisted of local customers who either didn't have the tools, physical capability, or even time to clean the exterior of their homes or property. We learned from our discovery process that they were looking for an expert who could simply take this task off their hands. But that was their surface level need. As we learned more about the Del Sordo clientele, we discovered something striking. For every homeowner, their house was a point of pride. It wasn't just about bricks and walls, it was about safety, a personal retreat, and for some, a hard-earned symbol of success. But above all, their homes were a place to build memories and nurture a sense of community. Digging into their pain points even further, it became clear to us that their misbelief, their emotional problem that needed to be solved was the anxiety about who to trust with restoring life and beauty into something so personal to them. Who or what was going to give them that peace of mind? The answer was clear. It was the Del Sordo difference, a business guarantee founded on trust and respect. And the person providing that guarantee? Our protagonist, the owner, Mr. Del Sordo himself. Someone who understands the pride affiliated with owning a home, someone who lives and breathes community as a business leader and educator, and the lens through which the audience would experience the connection to their homes. This was the story that we needed to tell. And the process we took to get here, well, it can be condensed into this quote from Lisa Cron, which states, "You aren't simply trying to find out what your audience's reasons are. Your goal is to find out why those reasons have the meaning, the emotional weight that they do." With our story elements finalized, characters, conflict, and all, we were then able to build a script around our story. And once the script was given the green light, the Formerly team then brought the brand film's concept to life with design and animation. Before we dive into the design and animation stages of this workflow though, let's revisit the graphic from the beginning of this video. Notice, we're still in the pre-production phase. We haven't even started designing yet, because getting the story right at this stage is essential. When we truly understand who we're helping and why, their story becomes the foundation for the style, mood, and tone of the entire project. That story will guide every design choice and ultimately every animation decision that follows. By nailing the story early, everything else naturally falls into place. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Now let's jump back into the workflow. The story we developed influenced every remaining aspect of the production pipeline for this piece. The script informed the sequence of shots and the storyboards provided the foundation upon which we built our style frames and animation. The visual direction took on a mixed media style inspired by our protagonist's educational and entrepreneurial backgrounds, allowing us to convey the story's message through a combination of photographic and illustrative elements. And it was the mixed media approach that influenced some of our on-the-box production systems as well. For example, we created a snapshot system as a way to personify the community aspect of the Del Sordo story. We wanted each person who watched the film to be able to see themselves, their families, and their neighbors in each of those frames, and feel as though they could simply swap in their own photographs and have the story remain the same. Additionally, we wanted the style to be tactile and reflect the Del Sordo founder's other profession as a teacher by incorporating elements of the classroom into the environment too. Our goal with these visual elements was simple: let the audience see and feel what it was like to be part of the Del Sordo community. For the design, we leaned on the Del Sordo brand colors as our visual foundation. Design principles such as hierarchy, color, and contrast became invaluable story tools that helped us emphasize key points in the brand film, which we then reinforced through the use of animation principles like timing and exaggeration for added impact. The low frame rate stylized animation set the tone for the general cadence of our piece too. Our stop motion-like approach was the perfect complement to the mixed media design and enhanced the handmade tangible quality we were trying to achieve. When it came time to package up the brand film with some sound design, those elements too were influenced by the story we developed in the story phase. We knew we needed a light track to match the playful mixed media aesthetic and lively animation, but most of all, it needed to sound like the joy of revitalizing a home. We made sure to select music and sound effects that not only complemented the visual playfulness, but also enriched the overall soundscape too. In the end, the business goals of the Del Sordo brand film were met. We fulfilled the requirement of creating a video that could be used both on the company's website and social media channels, but more importantly, we got to know the Del Sordo prospects, dove headfirst into their world, and told a story that mattered most to them. So that's the story to motion design workflow and how we applied it in a real-world scenario. At its core, it's the standard motion design pipeline, but with a distinct focus on the audience's personal story and our ability to truly and authentically connect with them. If I had to distill the workflow down into a single thought, it would probably be this. Given how much you will learn about your target audience, you may find yourself empathizing with them in a way you didn't at the start of the process. Because once you know their story, you've vicariously experienced what matters most to them. By putting yourself in their skin, you'll be better able to feel why they're doing what they're doing, and by extension, why it makes sense to them. By honing in on the story so early in the pre-production process, we give ourselves and our teams the clarity and direction to succeed. We know exactly who the story is for, who it's about, why it matters, and why it needs to be told. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the story to motion design workflow. If you found value in this deep dive, please let us know your thoughts in the comments below and share this video with someone who might enjoy learning about the process too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.